My name is Barbara, and my study is Amphipods, which is this small critter you can see on top of a stick. Now, these critters are so small, sometimes they're 2 millimeters in size, or they can be 2 centimeters long. Now, as I said, they're squashed laterally, so I'm going to turn this round, and you will see that if you look at it from the front, it is squashed. So I'm turning it back again. Now, every single amphipod has 7 pairs of legs. You know insects. Insects have 3 pairs of legs, and these have 7 pairs. First of all, I want you to look at the antennae. It has 2 pairs of antennae. The first pair is short, and the second pair are longer. Then the first claw is just a little one. The second claw is big because this one is a male. And then we go right on through to where I have pinned leg 7 up. And what you can see is that strange white shape, and that is a gill. And that's how it gets oxygen out of the air. And then as we continue along with this animal, it's got a section here where all these tassels are hanging off. Now, normally there'd be 3 pairs of brushes. And so these tassels are a bit big, but they're important because they beat very, very, very fast, and they drive the water, if they're in the sea, past the gills, and that this gill that you can see here takes out the oxygen from the water. And if you continue, you come to the last body part, and I don't know if you can see it, but this is where the poo comes out, just like us. Next, I want to look at us and the past. The people of Biak Island have a creation story, which is so close to the story of evolution. Once upon a time, Tefulfa swam up to the surface of the sea, and he looked around and he could see that there was no land. So he and his companions swam back down, and they brought up land, and they made land. And then he could move onto the land. And this is what happened with amphipods. Some of them were caught in the seaweed, and they enjoyed the rotting seaweed because they could eat it and make lots of babies. And then because amphipods hop like fleas, sometimes when they hop, the wind would have blown them. And if they were lucky, they fell on moist leaf litter. And so they could eat the decomposing leaves, and they could make lots of babies. That's the story of Tefulfa. The next thing I want to talk about is families. And there are around about 180 families, different kinds of amphipods around the world. In Victoria, where I come from, there are about 90 different families recorded. And so West Papua will also have families of amphipods that are found in Indonesia and Papua New Guinea, but it will also have its own species of amphipods, because that's the way they are. Amphipods don't move, well, some amphipods move around the world, but not all. Now, this particular amphipod has the 2 short antennae. There are other families where they have very long antennae. There are some families where they have very spiky bits on their backsides. And so there is this beautiful diversity. The last thing I want to talk about before we get to the slideshow is all around the world, the number of insects has nearly halved. And in Victoria, where I come from, it's very hard in some places to find common crabs. Their numbers are shrinking. And the same is happening with amphipods because of climate change, pollution, and who knows what else. They are not able to have their little babies. They're not able to live. And so the green state is about changing that situation. It needs to change around the whole world because it's Mother Nature who has looked after us and fed us. And we need to change and look after Mother Nature because she will keep feeding us. What you will see next are pictures I have taken in my backyard and some other places. This is a scientific drawing of the amphipod that lives in my backyard. This is a live amphipod crawling across the brush, and it normally measures about 8 millimeters. My nickname for the amphipod in the backyard is Mrs. Blue Eggs, and you can see why, just why. This picture shows the 2 pairs of antennae. The first pair are short, the second pair longer, and under the head you can see this bundle of mouth parts. And now this is a very special picture of a gill that if you lift up the 6th leg, this is what will be dangling in the armpit. And this is what takes the oxygen out of the moist air. And this shows you leg 6 with the gill still attached on the inside of the leg. Now these animals were first named in Japan, but because of shipping, they have spread all the way around the world. My nickname for her is Mrs. Green Eggs, and beside her is a male. Now, she can be kept in a jar with an injured worm, and she will come and eat the injured worm. Then she will make a little home, taking bits of muck out of the water, and so she's good at surviving. This is my last shot of a marine or amphipod from the sea. It's a very, very pretty animal, and this one lives under rocks. Let's see.